In this video, we're going to create the scoreboard that'll hang from the backboard above our pins. As a carryover from the previous video, we'll be using the Bowling Alley 03 file that you can find in the Working Files folder. Let's go ahead and select our backboard, then type Z to zoom in. Our scoreboard will be made out of a chamfer cylinder. In the Create column, let's go under Extended Primitives, clicking on Chamfer Cylinder. Now before drawing it in the scene, let's activate the Auto Grid so we can place it directly on the front face of our backboard. With that now on, let's position our mouse dragging to the side to create our chamfer cylinder. When happy with the radius, pull back to set the height, then click and push in. That final move being designed to set the fillet. Okay, once we have it on the screen, let's go to the Modify column so we can make some adjustments. Let's first change the wireframe color to a light blue. In the Parameters section, we'll then type in these numbers. The radius we'll take to 250. The height will be 25. We'll set the fillet to 10, and we'll give the cylinder 50 sides. With those values in place, let's name the object Scoreboard. Okay, now we're going to want to center our object up against the backboard. With the cylinder selected, let's activate the Align command on the right-hand side of the toolbar. We'll then position our mouse anywhere on the backboard and click. This is our way of telling Max that we'd like to align the scoreboard with the object behind it. In the Align controls, up at the top with X, Y, and Z position, let's start by unchecking all three boxes. Then, leaving the settings below set to Pivot Point and Pivot Point, we can activate only the X position. Once you've done that, you can click down at the bottom on either Apply or simply on OK. Now, we do want to scale this down a bit so it's more oval. Activating the Scale command, verify that the % snap toggle is still on. Let's now grab the Y or green stick on our gizmo, scaling it down. Why don't we make that 50% of its original size? You'll see the value down under the timeline for Y. With that in place, let's now add some text to the front of the scoreboard. Let's hit Z so we can zoom a little closer in. Going back to our Create Shapes commands, let's activate the Text tool. In the text entry field at the bottom of the column, let's type in UN followed by an exclamation point. We can then click anywhere in the middle of the chamfer box. So we can see our text, let's go to the Modify column, changing the wireframe color of the letters to bright red. Let's then change the font style to anything that you might like. Now for this example, I'm going to use Arial Bold Italic. Your font styles may be different than mine, all depending on what you've loaded into your Windows operating system. Let's now center our pivot point on the text by going under the Hierarchy tab. We'll choose Effect Pivot Only, then Center to Object. We're doing this simply to give us a better shot at aligning our text up against the scoreboard. Now once you've done that, make sure to turn off Effect Pivot Only. Let's now go ahead and add an extrude modifier to our text. And why don't we take that extrude amount to around 5. To align the text with the scoreboard, let's again click on the Align button on the toolbar. With that active, we'll now click on the scoreboard. We'll leave the center and target options set to pivot point, this time activating both the X position and the Y position. With things in place, we can click either Apply or OK. Once that's done, before saving up, we'll orbit our view to better stage our scene. With that now done, let's save our scene up as Bowling Alley 04. In our next video, we'll complete the scene by making our ball return. Let's go check that out.